Hey. DC represent? Yeah, I know, I said I was back and then I wasn't back and whatever, it's... Anyway, salam! My neck is killing me, and there is a perfectly good reason why that is. This thing right here. Remember the days of portable gaming before the backlight was invented? They're sitting in my living room, Alex and yeah, me, trying to think of something to do, and he asks if he can play one of my newer Pokemon games, like Alpha Sapphire, and I'm like, no, because he wants to wipe the file and start his own instead of buying his own damn game. And so I said, okay, go back through my old game box, which is this cigar box that I've had since like the 3rd grade, and find a Pokemon game that I had wiped, because I had done that before to try and start over. And usually when I wipe a game as massive as a Pokemon game and try and start over, I play about an hour, maybe get 1 badge, and then get bored and put it away. So we busted out the box and we start digging through, and I start testing the games, and then one thing led to another, and we spent roughly 15 hours playing old video games. Now, I don't have all of my old video games because, as I have mentioned in a previous video long ago, I once sold my entire collection of N64 games to GameStop for very, very little money because I was broke and I thought, oh, GameStop would never steal, essentially, money from a small child. I'm sure this is a reasonable price that I'm getting for these trade-ins. So I'm still working on getting that collection back together, but I do still have some of the games, and I also just bought this beautiful piece of work. Anyway, I don't know if any of you watching this are old enough to have played the Game Boy or Game Boy Color when it was a thing, or like if you just didn't play video games as a child or whatever, but basically, this thing, not having any light in it, you need to be facing a light source. Now, my strongest light source in my entire apartment is the sun. None of these lamps are enough. So while I was playing one of my all-time favorite games, and also the first video game I ever played in my entire life, Pokemon Pinball, my position would have to change depending on where the sun was in the sky. So my day, when we were having our marathon game session, was something like this. It's even worse with Kirby Tilt and Tumble because it's a tilt game. You have to hold the Game Boy straight in order to control it. So you're like holding it like this and moving Kirby around with no use of buttons, which means you need to somehow be getting light coming in at all angles, which is decidedly impossible at nighttime, or anytime really. This screen doesn't get light very well, so it was more like this. Holy shit! Unbelievable amounts of neck strain notwithstanding, these games really do hold up. Some things you liked as a child, you come back to them later on and you realize that they weren't all that great and you just really liked them as a kid because you were a kid and kids like everything. But some of them are really solid games, like Kirby Tilt and Tumble is really fun. The mechanic is novel and it works really well and it's not too gimmicky and the gameplay works out. A while ago, I suddenly remembered the existence of this old platformer from Disney Interactive way back in the day called Donald Duck Goin' Quackers, which I then went on eBay and repurchased. Came back, played that again, and it's legitimately enjoyable. It's not super dumbed down easy or whatever, even though it's a Disney kids game. There was one I used to have on the Game Boy called, it was like 102 Dalmatians or something. It was a Game Boy Color game, it was a platformer, and it was really freaking hard. I was at World 8 the other day over the weekend looking for some more old games to bring back into my bosom's collection thing. What? Into my bosoms. I was talking to the clerk at the store about these old, like, Disney games and things like that, and how they were legitimately challenging and fun, and they still hold up today. Like, the Aladdin SNES game was, like, difficult and enjoyable. The 102 Dalmatians game, and the old movie games, and the old TV show games, and stuff like that. They were really fun, and they really hold up, and you can get past the 8-bit or 16-bit or whatever graphics, or the fact that there's no backlight on the thing you're playing it on, and you gotta, like, contort your body into weird shapes in order to play these games again. It's a good time. It's a good time to go back to your roots and play some old shit. Sometimes you need to remember that it's not all about the spectacle, and it's about the gameplay, and it's about having fun and being challenged and wanting to complete the game because you care about it, not just because like there's a cool cinematic cutscene, because that's lame. Go watch a movie if you want that, okay? I don't know where I was going with this. I guess the moral of the story is hold on to your old games that you cherished and loved as a child, because you will immediately regret selling them or trading them away. And if you do still have them, or you can get access to them, go back and play them, because there's a reason you love them, and you'll probably still enjoy them as an adult. Yeah. Peace, love, geekdom. Goodbye. I want to change my end screen, but I don't know if I've done it yet. While filming this video, I do not have the knowledge of whether or not I have redone the end screen while I'm editing and or uploading this thing. Whatever. Click on my face to see more of my face, and look somewhere else for social media and things, and also probably link to my last video. Okay, bye. Won't even